What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Now, for a minute there, after the turn of the year, it was basically cancellation after cancellation for Disney+. We heard about a ton of projects that we've been hearing about for the last 2 years that are either on pause or canned all the way over at Marvel Studios, just because of how different they're doing things now. But there was one title that persisted, and as of the last round of announcements, which we covered about a week and a half ago here at the channel, and according to Brad Winderbaum, the guy who's in charge of Marvel Television, they were considering how to do a Hawkeye Season 2, and as he said, considering some ideas, we now know, though, what the rough plot for Hawkeye Season 2 might be, given an industry insider's latest leak at the synopsis for the show. We're going to break it all down and talk about the details included in the synopsis, which also include things like the set and the villain. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel. Thanks for everyone who subscribed over the last couple of months, and if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so, whether you've been rocking with the channel for a while or this is your first time finding us. If you want to support us, the best way to do it is by hitting that sub button, and I would sincerely appreciate it. Okay, so this latest synopsis comes from none other than trusted industry insider source Daniel Rickman. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at RPK News, and while I'm sure most viewers are familiar with his name and who he is the most ubiquitous and probably most trusted Marvel scooper in the game. This was his recent update about Hawkeye Season 2, quote, "I've heard that Marvel's pitch for a Hawkeye Season 2 was a Die Hard inspired project set during Christmas again, with Clint and Kate trapped in one location, fending off hordes of assassins." He then added the extra detail that Clint's brother, Barney Barton, was set to be the main villain. Now, some of this isn't exactly new, and we'll get to that, but note during the prologue I mentioned Brad Winderbaum only confirmed that they were considering ideas for an upcoming Hawkeye Season 2, looking for ways to bring Clint back and reunite him with Kate Bishop. But of course, Kate Bishop has a future in front of her as part of the Young Avengers. We're pretty sure we're going to see Clint Barton back as part of the Avengers Secret War saga as well, only because he still exists in the universe. So there's a good chance we're going to see the two of these heroes reunited in the near future and before we get to Hawkeye Season 2. But we had it rumored from industry insiders this was actually greenlit, and long before Brad Winderbaum confirmed it in the face of all these recent cancellations. And the reason that this seems a little more confirmed than they're letting on was because of news from the same industry insider, Daniel RPK. If you remember our video here at the channel, or if you keep up with his scoops, it was the first week in January, so months ago, when he indicated that not only was Barney Barton going to be the villain of Hawkeye Season 2, but that they had already extended an offer to an A-list actor. And so there's an obvious progression of logic here. You're not throwing out A-list actor offers if you don't have any intentions of greenlighting the show. It's actually the opposite. It means they're going to, and in a world where Marvel Studios has a brand new way of making shows that includes a long development process and even a pilot before it gets greenlit, something like a Hawkeye Season 2 with a member of the OG Avengers is such an easier project for them to put their stamp of approval on, and everything about this synopsis seems right in line with what we were just hearing about Marvel Studios' wants and interests for how they're going to develop new shows. Look, this is why they canned the Nova show, because the ambition for that show to be a Space Odyssey saga is just too expensive for the returns that they're seeing on their Disney Plus shows and driving subscriptions. Conversely, what was reported over the last couple of weeks in the press junket leading up to Daredevil, and confirmed several times by the quotes, is that they're more interested in grounded stories. They're obviously way more budget friendly, and being able to keep CGI to a minimum is something that's more attractive for Marvel Studios to greenlight as a TV studio than, say, these super ambitious projects that they know are going to require a ton of CGI, like Nova. So then when you get a Hawkeye Season 2 and you start hearing details about it being set in one location, sort of like a raid style film, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're controlling the budget, and you can do a show like that outside of what you're paying the actors. You can do a show like that on a relatively small budget, where something like Secret Invasion, that didn't make an impression on anyone, is probably one of the biggest Marvel stinkers in the whole game, cost $250 million. Now, I think it's also totally worth bringing up that because, of course, Hawkeye Season 1 was set in New York, and there could be a good chance that Season 2 is set there as well, that the one main hero that's in New York City that Marvel has shown that they have absolutely zero qualms about crossing over in any Marvel show, like She-Hulk or Echo, is obviously Daredevil. And I think as far as grounded heroes go and crossing them over with quote-unquote Avengers, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, this team-up would make complete sense. And from Marvel's standpoint, since they've used him everywhere else, I think this would be an excellent opportunity to cross him over with an Avenger and have Hawkeye and Daredevil team up during the series. Now, if you guys want my honest take on this, it's a little nuanced because, first of all, y'all know I basically hype everything. I like to get in the spirit of getting excited for Marvel projects, even when it feels like maybe the whole fandom isn't with us. That's just my personality, and even though I will negatively sound off on things when I think it's warranted, I just feel like that is just becoming too often in social media. It's much easier to just bag on something instead of, actually support it or try to appreciate the art in the work. Topic for a different video and maybe even a different channel, but in the meantime, I very, very seldom, outside of a couple of small things, go off on negative tangents. So I do sort of feel like I'm nitpicking a little here, but I don't know if this is what's best for Marvel television, right? Like, isn't this just more of the same, where only the safest things get made? And I know I made an analogy to the, 2000s when they would only greenlight, say, the X-Men and Spider-Man, because those are the only Marvel properties that they thought were big enough, or literally the biggest, to go and make money. And they made Blade, and it made a lot of money, but you couldn't imagine a world where a Moon Knight TV show would happen or anything along those lines. And then they actually tried and experimented with projects, and because there was failures in execution along the way that weren't necessarily tied to the characters they were trying, they have sort of moved into this brand new, super hard to get a show made. And yeah, we definitely wanted Marvel Studios to do quality control. I wanted them to, you guys wanted them to. She-Hulk looks like Gumby in half of her episodes. It's an absolute tragedy. That can't happen. But on the flip side of that, like I said, Agatha all along, Agatha Harkness, a character I would have never suspected to have her own show, Wanda spinoff or not, or say Loki season 2, and Loki was a big character coming off the Infinity Saga, but Loki having his own TV show, I mean, come on, think about that. Loki getting a TV show, not in the 2000s. I'm just worried that maybe some of the sleeper stuff, and especially things like Werewolf by Night, are never going to get a shot to get made now. And to me, one of the coolest things about Marvel in general and the MCU is the enormity of the world. And, Werewolf by Night was one of the best things they did. And I hope that they still sort of have that bird's eye view that there are, tertiary, secondary characters that do deserve some screen time and some of their own shows and stuff like that, that maybe necessarily now aren't going to make the cut. And I really hope that they can see through that and see that fans still want that stuff. But here's the thing, we've been telling them through the views and through the way that we reacted to shows like Secret Invasion and She-Hulk that wasn't good enough. And this is what we got. And maybe it is for the best, but it's also same old out of Hollywood where they're willing to go ahead and say greenlight a Hawkeye season 2 instead of a Nova season 1. And it's not necessarily because of the disparity in the budget, but also because Hawkeye is a known commodity and Nova is not. And maybe listen, this is a sad comparison or a bad one because, Hawkeye's an OG Avenger. There's no comparison to be made there. He's been there since the beginning. Duly noted. Still, I think it would hold up if it wasn't Hawkeye. Say, okay, Moon Knight season 2 might have a better shot of being made now than XYZ season 1 because, again, known commodity. All right, you guys let me know all your thoughts, though, down below. Don't get me wrong, definitely hyped for Hawkeye season 2. The synopsis actually sounds awesome. I just want the weird stuff, too. Hey, but this is the way it is now. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below, as always. I am all ears in the comments. I've been trying to respond to more of you lately, spend more time in there, but let me know down below. Quickly, if you hit the sub button and leave a comment down below, that will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on to better keep up with the videos, especially in this new day of the algorithm in 2025. And of course, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, under the name Allfires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.